There are countries you visit, and then there are countries you experience in layers. Pakistan is one of those places. A land where the road can take you from snow-fed valleys to sunburnt plains, from silent mountain passes to cities that never seem to sleep. From rivers that shaped civilizations to a coastline where rock, wind, and sea meet at the edge of the continent. This is not a single landscape, it is a collision of worlds. When people speak of Pakistan, they often speak in fragments: a city, a headline, a border, a memory. But the land tells a much bigger story. To understand Pakistan, you have to follow its geography. You have to move with its rivers, climb with its roads, descend into its plains, and stand still long enough to hear the silence of its high places and the noise of its great cities. This journey begins in the green folds of Kashmir and stretches southward through the capital, across mountain highways, into the heart of Punjab, and all the way to the Arabian Sea. In Muzaffarabad, the landscape introduces itself gently. The city sits where mountains gather and rivers meet, as if geography itself decided this would be a place of arrival. There is movement here, but not the restless movement of a metropolis. It is the movement of water, of wind through slopes, of roads curling around hills that seem to hold the city in their embrace. Muzaffarabad does not dominate its surroundings, it lives within them. Every turn of the road reveals the same relationship between settlement and terrain. Homes resting on inclines, bridges stretching over fast water, neighborhoods shaped less by urban planning than by the demands of the earth itself. And perhaps that is what gives the city its character. It feels negotiated, not imposed, built in conversation with the mountains, not in defiance of them. From Muzaffarabad, the journey deepens into Neelum Valley. Here the road does not simply lead somewhere, it accompanies the river, tracing its course as if unwilling to let it out of sight. The Neelum is more than a body of water here. It is presence. It glides beside villages, cuts through stone, reflects forests, and gives the valley its rhythm. What makes this place memorable is not only its beauty, but its texture, the softness of the light on the slopes, the sudden opening of the valley after a sharp bend, the way mist settles on distant ridges, making the mountains appear and disappear like thoughts. In places like this, nature does not perform. It simply exists with quiet confidence, and life around it follows that same quiet logic. Roadside homes, modest shops, terraced patches of cultivation, the familiar choreography of daily life unfolding under the gaze of immense, patient mountains. Neelum Valley feels less like a destination and more like a reminder that some landscapes are not meant to overwhelm you, but to slow you down. Then comes Islamabad, and with it, a different kind of landscape. After the raw contours of Kashmir, the capital appears measured, deliberate, composed. Its wide roads, organized sectors, and clean lines create an atmosphere rare in South Asia, a city that seems to breathe in even intervals. But Islamabad is not separate from nature, it is framed by it. The Margala Hills rise quietly at its edge, reminding you that even here, among embassies, boulevards, and government buildings, the natural world is never far away. The city feels planned, yes, but not sterile. Its beauty lies in restraint. Islamabad does not announce itself with intensity. It reveals itself through calm. In the symmetry of its roads, in the stillness of early light, in the way modern civic order sits beneath ancient hills. Leaving the capital and moving northward again, the land begins to rise. Murree arrives first, a place of clouds, pine, and shifting visibility. There is something theatrical about Murree. The way fog swallows a road and gives it back, the way trees emerge in layers, the way distance is constantly being negotiated by weather. It is a landscape built as much by atmosphere as by terrain. But beyond Murree, the journey becomes more expansive. The Hazara Motorway cuts through this northern transition with remarkable confidence, a modern ribbon laid across an ancient geography. There is something striking about that contrast, engineered precision moving through wild topography. These roads do more than connect places. They change the emotional experience of distance. What was once remote now feels reachable, and yet the mountains lose none of their grandeur. Further on, Naran and Kaghan open up like a release. The valleys widen, the rivers run colder, faster, brighter. The slopes sharpen, and the air feels thinner, cleaner, charged with altitude. These are landscapes that seem designed for movement, for roads, for water, for clouds rolling low across peaks and disappearing into deeper country. And then comes Babusar Pass. High above the valley floor, Babusar feels like a threshold, a place where the journey stops being horizontal and becomes vertical. Up here, the human scale begins to collapse. Roads look fragile, vehicles look temporary, even sound seems to travel differently. What remains is space, immense, exposed, elemental space. The wind is sharper, the sky is closer, and the mountains no longer feel like scenery, they feel like force. Babusar is the kind of place that reminds you how small movement really is in the face of geology. You cross it in minutes, but it took the Earth ages to make. If Kashmir feels intimate and the Kaghan route feels dramatic, Gilgit-Baltistan feels monumental. In Skardu, the landscape becomes austere. This is a place of wide valleys, stone, water, and sky, a terrain stripped to essentials. The mountains here do not crowd the horizon, they define it. Everything feels carved, exposed, and enduring. Skardu carries a rare visual tension. It can feel severe one moment, serene the next. A cold desert can exist beside a lake of startling stillness. Bare rock can frame water so calm it seems unreal. It is a place where extremes live side by side, without contradiction. Then there is Hunza. Hunza has long captured the imagination, and it is not difficult to understand why. There is grandeur here, but also human continuity. Villages, terraces, old forts, trees in bloom or leaf, roads threading through impossible terrain, all of it creates the impression that life here has not merely survived among mountains, but learned how to belong to them. Hunza is beautiful, yes, but its deeper power lies in balance. Between altitude and habitation, between harsh winters and cultivated land, between ancient roots and present-day movement. And then, Deosai. Deosai does not rise like a mountain range or descend like a valley. It stretches. An elevated plain, vast and open, where the horizon feels almost oceanic. The first impression is scale. The second is silence. There are no dramatic cliffs here demanding your attention, no dense settlements to anchor the eye. Instead, Deosai works differently. It empties the frame. It gives the sky more authority. It lets the land breathe in long, uninterrupted lines. This is where Pakistan's geography becomes philosophical. Because in Deosai, the question is no longer what you are seeing. It is what space does to the mind when there is so much of it. From the heights of the north, the journey descends into Punjab, and the mood changes again. In Multan, the land feels older in a different way. Not older through mountains or glaciers, but through memory. This is a city of heat, dust, devotion, commerce, and continuity. Its streets carry the density of long history, its architecture, its shrines, its movement through light and shadow. All of it suggests a place that has been inhabited, visited, prayed in, and passed through for centuries. Further outward, in the quieter regions of South Punjab, places like Basirpur reveal another face of Pakistan. Agricultural, grounded, unhurried. Here the drama is not vertical, it is seasonal. Fields, roads, market spaces, local rhythms, these landscapes are shaped by cultivation and repetition. The relationship with land here is direct. The soil is not backdrop, it is livelihood. And on the M2 near Kalar Kahar, the road once again becomes part of the story. The terrain begins to ripple. The salt range rises gently but distinctly, breaking the long sweep of the plains. This is not the overwhelming scale of the north, but something subtler. A reminder that even Pakistan's central roots move through layers of geology and time. Then the journey turns south, where the air changes, the light hardens, and the land begins to lean toward the sea. Karachi is not a city you summarize easily. It is movement on a massive scale. It is noise, commerce, tension, energy, survival, ambition. Where other landscapes in Pakistan invite stillness, Karachi insists on motion. The sea is never far from its identity. You feel it in the openness of the horizon, in the humidity, in the rhythm of roads pushing toward the port, toward the waterfront, toward the edge of the Arabian Sea. Karachi's beauty is not delicate. It is raw, crowded, human. And beyond it, the coastline opens. Along the coastal belt and into Balochistan, Pakistan changes once more. The mountains turn barren, the rock grows harsher, and the sea arrives not as softness, but as contrast. Cliffs, coastal roads, waves striking stone, empty stretches where land and water seem to test each other. This is one of the country's most dramatic meetings of elements. Arid earth against moving ocean. Silence against surf. Exposure against depth. On this coast, the documentary reaches its final image. Not a monument, not a city, but a boundary. A place where the land runs out and the horizon takes over. To travel through Pakistan is to move through different ideas of space. the enclosed calm of valleys, the order of the capital, the engineered confidence of highways, the vast authority of mountains, the patience of plains, the force of the sea. And perhaps that is what makes this land so difficult to reduce to a single image. Pakistan is not one view. It is a sequence of transformations, a country written in rivers, rock, dust, altitude, and tide. A place where every road changes the story, and every landscape leaves behind a different kind of memory.